So in this video we're going to talk about arrays and their methods and properties of arrays specifically in JavaScript. So what is an array? Array is a type of data structure. Okay, then what is a data structure? Data structure. A data structure is a way of storing data in your computers. Okay, so there are different type of data structures which have their own properties. According to that, you can store data structures. It impacts the way you can perform operations on them, of data retrieval, data entry, or any other certain type of data modification. Okay, so we are going to talk about arrays in JavaScript. The first line says this is going to give out array and its methods inside of JavaScript. Okay. So an array is a data structure. Okay, we know that. I just told you. I don't know who the fuck. I don't know who wrote this. So yeah, that's a repetitive thing. We should avoid repetitive code in coding specifically. We should remember that. So everyone should remember that actually. So the, okay. So how the arrays store data and data. How arrays store data. So arrays store data in contiguous locations in memory, meaning like if a data is at 1001 address, then the next one will be at 1005. The gap of 4 depends the gap between two locations depends on the size of the data, or specifically byte or data type. It depends on data type of that specific data. Let's just say integers take 4 to 2 bytes, whereas strings take 8 bytes or even more than that, depending on the language or compiler or different conditions that we are running a code in. So moving ahead of that, so in most programming languages, the data stored inside of array needs to be of same type, which means let's just say we are stored one which is of integer type, then we have to store only integer type data inside of array. We cannot even store decimal values inside of it, like 1.2 or 1.4, but that's not the same case in JavaScript. In JavaScript we can store any type of data inside of arrays, including methods. Right, you heard it right. We can store methods also, objects, or even different arrays, strings, constants, or integers. Sorry, wait, I don't know, I just, if I said anything wrong. So the next part is going to be about how we can declare arrays. One important thing that I forgot I to wrote in this is that arrays are non-primitive type of data in JavaScript. Okay, so we are not going to talk about primitive or non-primitive at this point, because we are discussing arrays, and primitive and non-primitive is a different concept. Okay, so now this is going to be about how to declare arrays. Okay, so one way is literal way, literal array literals. Okay, so how we declare array literals is first we declare the data type, or what is this? It is a declaring syntax. I don't know. Let me see. Let me check what does letter and constant. What are let const and where? Well, they are data type, I guess. The school black const used to be declare variable, but they differ in scope. Are they data types? Because they're not. They're not data types. That's what I think. No, let consider they are variable declaration keywords in JavaScript. Okay, so in JavaScript we don't have any specific type of data type that we can use to declare a specific variable. Let int, char, or string that we have in other programming languages, specifically in Java. If I talk about that, so the syntax is something like this. So how we can initialize it also, this is the declaration way, which means we have declared, we have not stored any value inside of it, but this indicates that this specific array is declared, but it doesn't have any value inside of it. Okay, so how we can store values inside of it? We can simply say 1, 2, 3 separated by comma, or any point value also, like decimal value. Sorry, if I was not being professional, let me say that. Let me add that to you. Okay, so and we can declare this also, anti-locking braking system ABS. This is a string like containing 3 characters. This is something which we can't do on any other programming language. Okay, so and we can also pass functions. Yes, you heard it absolutely right. This is a function, right? Alright, guys, see this. Okay, we can. This is a function inside of an array. Alright, guys, we have a function inside of array. We can return a value depending on. I'm hoping if you're watching this video, then you know what is a callback function, I guess. That this is what it is. Right? Sorry. Wait a minute. The convert functions are functions which are passed as parameters. This is a specific element. Oh, okay. Let's just say, let me make it simpler for myself and also. This is a first class function. In simpler words, this is a first class function, and we are returning a value of 70 from this. Okay. So how we can access value? Before accessing any value, we have two ways. I'm going to tell you two ways of declaring array. This is a one way, which is a literal way. Now we are going to use constructor, array constructor, which is something like, which goes something like this. We are using new keyword. Okay, now we have our array in which we are using constructor. So what is the difference between literal way of declaring and constructor way of declaring? There is not a really, for specifically you, if you are watching this video, there is no difference. Okay, there is no difference. Not at all. I would say. I would say you should watch a tutorial on this specifically. Ask ChatGPT. We can do that also. We can do that. We can ask ChatGPT, right? We can pass these values inside of our secondary also, which is this. Easily see this. We have two arrays inside which we have same values, but one is declared with literal way and another is declared with constructor. What is the difference between these two? So the difference between these two is, I know that, I know what is the difference, but I just want you to know that what is the difference between these two. Let me, I've got to type out what is the difference. The main, what is the difference? Two. Okay. Okay, wait a minute. Only this is the difference. The literal can slightly be faster since the syntax does not invoke the constructor function. Yes, that's true. Use case, I'm getting the point. Use the new array constructor to create an array instance. Yes, we are creating an instance. That's for sure. That's for sure. Purpose array constructor. Array literal. Suppose defining empty slots easily. Wait a minute. Someone is coming. Can't we pause our recording? Can't we fucking pause our recording? Wait a minute. I'll be back. Moving ahead, sorry, going to we were going to talk about so the difference between these two is one is the literal way and another is the constructive way of declaring an array. I don't know, I've fucking recorded for 10 minutes and I've only explained arrays, literal way and constructor array. Or also I've explained what is the nature of array and also yeah, that's good. So moving ahead, there is one specific thing that I would like to tell you that really is different between these two arrays is this thing, right? This 5, right? So if I log, let me control Z it. If I if I log this array and inside of square brackets I pass 0, sorry, 0, what would be the output value? If you said 5, bro, let me tell you you're doomed. It is undefined. You know why? You know why? The reason behind this is undefined is that this array is empty. Yes, you heard me absolutely right. This is array is empty. But bro, we are passing the value 5 inside of it. Sorry sir, sorry sir, this is how JavaScript works. This is the syntax of JavaScript. Memorize it. Fucking yeah, that's you have to do. That's what you have to do. You have to memorize it, right? So the value that you have passed 5 inside of it acts as the length property for this specific AR1 array. What does this mean, bro? What does this mean? This means if we do this, then we are going to get 5. So you are trying to tell me, bro, that if we write any value like 10 inside of this after it, what would this be? If that is a question in your mind, let me tell you, this is going to be an array containing two elements, 5 and 10, and the length of this would be 2 and not 5 or 10 or 15. This is 2. So the reasoning behind this is if we pass a single value inside of array constructor, this acts as the length property for the array. Bro, you are telling me that I have passed 5 values. Okay. So if I log any value like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of index for this array as it has 5 spaces, what would be? Bro, it would be undefined. Let me tell you, this is going to be undefined. Why? Because those positions does not have any value inside of them. This array is empty. It just have the length of 5, which means it has five spaces in the inside of memory in which this array has stored undefined value. Okay, so read on that more from ChatGPT, OpenAI, DeepSeek, R1. Okay, moving ahead from that, this was the main difference. Okay, so now we have moved from array declaration and initialization ahead. From we have moved a little ahead from this. So now we are not talking about methods. Important method inside 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 of array. Yes, I do a lot of mistakes, spelling mistakes. Sometimes I think I have ADHD. If you don't know what that is, you don't know what that is. You should know about that. Google it. Okay, I have to stop my recording because yes, someone is at the door.